Across all infrastructure sectors, water, energy, transport and social services, governments face an ever-growing dilemma. Traditional public procurement falls short of bridging the gap between available public finances and infrastructure development needs, both in advanced and developing countries. However, there is a way out. Public-private partnerships. Let's illustrate this with a concrete example. Imagine, you have just taken office as a public decision maker. The first thing you would like to improve is the municipal drinking water provision, which has been neglected in the past due to the enormous task that it presents: building and efficiently managing the municipal water and sewage infrastructure. To tackle this challenge, you decide to share not only the construction of the municipal water and sewage system, but also its financing and its operation with the private sector through a public-private partnership agreement. Public-private partnership does not mean the privatization of your water services. In a PPP, the state continues to be the owner of the water infrastructure and accountable for the provision of good drinking water to the people. With the PPP approach, your government sets the stage and drafts a first plan. You then launch a competitive tender to identify the best offer from a private partner who will finance, design, build, operate, and maintain the project. Your private partner recovers his initial investment through service fees paid by the government or by the users directly. Your role is to supervise the public service provision in the best interest of your citizens. The public-private partnership approach lets you plan your project over its entire life cycle, optimizing the use of available resources. With this approach, you tap the strengths of the private sector that knows better how to first attract and invest capital, how to avoid cost overruns, and lastly, how best to operate. Finally, public-private partnership allocates specific risks to the partner that's in a better position to manage them, and these are tailored to the individual project. You, as the public actor, are best suited to control such risks as permits, legal frameworks, and changes in jurisdiction and regulation. The private sector mitigates best risks related to design, cost-efficient investment, operation, and technology. Certain risks have to be shared between both the public and private sectors, for example, sufficient user demand for new projects, or force majeure. Public-private partnerships are complex legal and financial arrangements. To create a successful partnership, a government should implement a set of good governance principles. The most important of these are: put people first. Start with assessing user needs. Projects must be economically warranted and involve all concerned stakeholders. A competent and stable government partner is required to build administrative capacity for effectively negotiating and managing long-term collaborations with the private sector, to put in place adequate legal frameworks and regulations, and ensure transparent procurement policies. Assess all risks from the outset and allocate them appropriately between the public and the private sectors. Don't forget to mitigate any substantial risk to the environment. Public-private partnership can be compared to a football game, where the government sets the rules and acts as referee to ensure their compliance. Those in the private sector are then able to compete against each other on the football field, for the benefit of the spectators. The game ends with the expiry of the PPP contract and the handing over of the public service back into your hands. If your citizens were satisfied with the game, why not continue and organize the next tournament with fresh players?